Damn hotel.
What's up?
How are you?
Feel good. Can't complain. It's a
Good.
good day. Nice sunny day out.
Seneb.
Yeah.
So, today we're talking about the red flags of abusive relationships, right?
Right.
Okay, so let me just introduce myself to everyone who may be new to me on IG. My name is BaNAuset KaNSekhmet, and I am the naturopathic nurse and the founder for Kemetic Wellness Sacred Healing Center. Um, so I have with me today a brother by the name of Kepresh, and I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce yourself. Say your name.
Definitely. What's up, everybody? Peace to the non-Kemetic folk. I'm Kepresh En Ntr MesuRa, whole name. But you can just call me Resh for short. And I'm the owner of Be Elite Fitness, NYC, and co-owner of Virtual Fitness League. And I'm a strength and conditioning coach and a 24 to 25 year martial arts background. And yeah, I've been getting it in many different disciplines, and it's just been an honor. And I also do a lot of things with the fight against domestic violence against women. You can catch me even in a calendar too for something called Honks for Hope, where we do these shoots and all proceeds go toward different, let's just say, like houses that protect women or foster women that have been in domestic situations. So it's a really cool thing, and that's called Honks for Hope. Go there, donate, for
Wow.
sure, because the money definitely goes too. So I've been doing that now for about, what, 8 years? Has it been 8 years? Something like that. It's been a while. It's been a while. And I also do women self-defense seminars, which I have coming up with you soon, February 13th. So definitely go to her website. It's going to be an awesome time. Check it out. We deal with the mind, body, and spirit during this 6-week course, and it's 2 hours a day. And it's 2 hours every Saturday. And it's for 6 weeks, and it's just a really awesome time. So definitely go to the Kemetic Wellness website, and I hope to see some of you ladies there for sure.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that really good introduction. Um, I wanted to link with you because you definitely have that expertise when it comes to training the mind of women and also the physical body to be able to protect themselves against any type of toxic relationship or toxic abusive man. And for me, what I do is the spiritual work, which is, elevating you in terms of your nutrition so that you can actually have the capacity to think on the level you need to be thinking on, as well as Kemetic Reiki. I'm a Kemetic Reiki practitioner and a womb yoga dance practitioner. So those are the things that I do to fortify women in their spirit and in their bodies as well, so that they can protect themselves properly against these types of relationships. So,
That's cool that you do Reiki, Kemetic Reiki. I'm a Kemetic Reiki practitioner too.
nice.
That's cool.
So you understand how important the energy is.
Right.
So my motivation for wanting to do this type of work is I've also been in an abusive relationship before. I've experienced that. So I know firsthand what these signs are all about. And so we have a few different things coming up. One of the things that I'm doing regularly is I have a womb yoga dance class, which is every week on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. And that helps to teach you about awareness and also developing your sacred femininity, okay, from a positive place, as well as a virtual healing session that's coming up on June 30th, and it's called Protect Your Energy. So what we're going to be teaching in that session is how to recognize energy vampires. So not just men, but different types of relationships and situations that can steal your energy and allow you to be feeling depressed and, you know, feeling like life is not going your way, but you don't exactly know why, right? And then this course that's coming up with Kepresh on February 13th, where he's really going to get into the mental training and the physical training for the women. Is a self-defense course, 6-week self-defense course. So definitely check that out at KemeticWellness.com. Okay.
Definitely.
So for today's
Definitely.
live, we're talking about the red flag of abusive relationships. So first, let me say what a red flag is, because sometimes we get a little confused about that. Anytime you see red, red means stop. That's number one. Red means stop. If you see a stop sign, it's in the color red. If you are driving and you see a red light flash, that means stop. That means do not proceed. So that's the number one thing. Everything that we're saying here today, these red flags mean you do not proceed past this point with this individual when you start to see these red flags. It doesn't mean test it out a little bit more. It doesn't mean wait for some more red flags. It means stop and do not proceed, right? Okay, so I'll get into one, and then I'll let
Right.
you dive off of.
Good, good, good. We can tennis match it for sure.
Yes, we'll tennis match it. So the first red flag I want to say is somebody who is moving too fast, moving too fast with. So you just meet a man and he wants to be on the phone texting all day. He wants to talk to you on the phone all day, like he don't have nothing else to do. And like you don't have nothing else to do either. He wants to tell you that I love you. I love you crazy, girl. I love you. You know I love how you love me after a week. How you love me? I don't know you, brother. I don't know you like that, but you love me, you know? So those are signs that you know, this person doesn't have the best of intentions. Usually a person, first of all, men don't really fall for women like that quickly anyway. Men tend to you know, they take their time. So when a man is really moving fast with you, he doesn't know you and he's trying to tell you that he loves you and wants to be with you very, very early out the gate, it's a bad sign. It usually means that person wants to hook you quickly so that you don't walk away. And there's usually nothing good on the other end of that hook, right? So, what are some red flags that you notice?
Or what you call love bombing.
Yeah,
It's like
love
love
bombing.
bombing. Love bombing. You got to give everything a cool name. Love
Yeah.
bombing. Um, I think my first major red flag would be isolation.
Mhm.
Someone who's basically building like a prison around you, where you don't have association with your family, your close friends. Someone who objects to you doing the things that you always did before they met you. Like if you were going to a dance class on Tuesday, they don't want you to go to the dance class on Tuesday. If you had this to do on a Saturday, like they try to manipulate your schedule within a way that is all about them. So they begin to know your every waking move. So, and I think isolation, the reason I put that at number one is very is extremely dangerous because you're already now in a relationship with this person. That is the only way isolation can happen. It can't happen when you're just texting, like when they're in the love bomb stage, right? So um, be very aware of the isolation. And it always begins with, I don't like this person.
Mm.
And they never even met the person, right? It's one thing, like, I've dated women, and sometimes a woman can see what a man can't see, right?
Mhm.
Because we're culturally like men are like a wolf pack. So when a woman is sitting behind you and she goes like this, who's that over there? And you'd be like, oh yeah, that's my man from like high school. He good. And she goes like, oh, it's something off. Like you gotta kind of believe it because a woman can kind of feel or sense something that a man can't in that moment. So I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that weird energy that the person that you're in the mix with, that company, that they're not seeing. I'm just talking about like in general, right? Like I don't
Yeah.
like that dance teacher. Something wrong with her. And you've been going to this dance teacher for like 7 years of your life. I don't like this cousin. There's something wrong with him. And you're like, whoa, I've been going on vacation with this person since we were teenagers. Like that's what I mean by like isolating you.
Right. Right. So what's the purpose of the isolation? Why is the person isolating you in the first place? From your
Oh,
perspective,
so you can
why would a
become their
man?
I, I think because it allows him to treat you in whichever way that he desires, right? And it puts him in a more dominant position, especially if you're a woman without a career, meaning
Mm-hmm.
like you don't have like necessarily money coming in to
Yeah.
take care of your own household. So it makes you even hyper dependent on them. So instead of having an interdependent relationship,
Mm-hmm.
you're handling this, I'm handling that, and we're like blooming and growing together. We're having just a stagnant, dependent relationship in which that gives the man the power.
Right.
And when you have somebody with absolute power over your particular life, whether financially, especially financially, and where you live at, that's a real danger. Definitely red flag. That's why I picked that one number one.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, when you're isolated, that basically means nobody's coming to help you.
Right.
You know? Been there, so I know that.
Mm,
One that I wanted to point out was disrespect very early.
okay.
So, most of the time before a person becomes physically abusive, they will test you to know that you would even accept that. Because if somebody on the first date just punch you in the face, you run. Like you're never gonna
Right.
see that person again. And so they do something called grooming, right? Where
Mm,
they kind of test you, they kind of check your temperature and see what they can get away with. This is why when you see early signs of disrespect, you need to check it quickly. And if that person does not respond well and take accountability for what they did, then you know that's a person to stay away from. You don't go any further with that person. If a person is disrespectful, for example, they may call you a name, call you out of your name, call you something disrespectful. Um, they may stand you up or something like that. These things are not by accident. Like, you know how to treat other people. You know the way that you want to be treated. People know what's socially acceptable. So when a person is disrespectful to you intentionally, it's not an accident. Don't think the person doesn't know what they're doing or they don't have home training. Even if that is the case, they don't have home training. That's not a person you want to deal with unless you want problems in your life. So
I
early
like
respect. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
I like that. I always go number two is lack of boundaries. So I guess that goes with your disrespect. That's like how I describe lack of boundaries. Like but then again, you have to have the sometimes I would say we live in a world where we think we are and we are presenting a particular aspect that
Uh-huh.
we think will be reciprocated,
Yeah.
right? Like you come in the room, I come in the room, we have a similar energy, like it's like a certain boundary of respect is always given. But to the I guess the predatorial mind, they still have to tamper with that boundary,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes, that's a really, really good one, actually.
yeah,
Paying attention to somebody who will violate your boundaries. or even violating the boundaries of other people. Like, it's okay to pay attention to how someone treats other people to discern whether or not you even want to deal with that person. A lot of times we will wait for a person to do us dirt before we decide we don't want to deal with them. But you can pay attention to a person's behavior, how they interact with other people, to decide, okay, that person doesn't have good character and I don't want to deal with them at all, you know?
Right.
So,
Gotta avoid the habitual line steppers.
yes, yes,
Habitual line steppers. It's one thing if a person does something and they don't know. It's another thing when they're doing something that they should know.
exactly, exactly.
For sure.
And usually they do know because they'll hide it from other people.
Mm,
And that's one of the reasons that abuse sometimes is very hard to detect, because it's not always physical. It usually happens on a mental and emotional level long before it becomes physical. And it's something that is taking place between those two people that other people, even if they're very close, even if they're living there with you, may not see, or they're not going to see all the intricacies of what's happening between your relationship with that person and the dynamic. It's very insidious. It's
I
very,
would say start on a energetic level
yeah,
first. The
yes.
first is always the energetic. Is
Mhm.
that like, and then it builds into everything else. But I would just say that it starts at it. And like I've been in places where you could feel the energy before the before the madness even started,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um,
Attention to a energy.
yeah, I'll take the next one though. I'll grab the next one. I like it. I would say vengeful actions.
Mm.
How somebody is triggered and how they hold what they do with the disagreement or if and how they hold a particular grudge,
Mm.
right? So that's something that um, it's easy to really locate vengeful actions. You can just see, like, in just a general conversation, sometimes when you go like, why you don't like that? What's going on over there? And they'd be like, man, I gave him $1 and they forgot my tea. And they said they gave my dollar to a homeless person, but now they're like planning, scouting how to destroy this person's life over $1,
Yeah,
right? And you got to go like, hmm, I don't know about that. Like you got to have like vengeful actions. You get into a disagreement and they just go punch the door,
mm-hmm.
put a hole in the door, and you just like, I'm just not feeling that right now. Like, or throwing like pots and going basically turning into like a 3-year-old child with pots and pans, right? So I would just say vengeful actions is vengeful acts.
Mm-hmm.
They got to get back. They're holding like these weird grudges. You go into the store, you forgot. You had everything, you grabbed 95% of everything, and then you forgot I don't know, the chicken noodle soup that they like or something like that. And you'd be like, oh, I'll go get it later. And they just like flip out. They just flipping out. I think like that is like a super red flag that sometimes we take for granted, but you can always see, you can pretty much, pinpoint that red flag, how individuals deal with other people just in general, like even just in their work life, right? Like doing
Yeah,
those little spiteful things during work. Yo, you work in the office with somebody and they forgot to bring this particular paper. So you just go like, you know what, for the rest of the week, I'm gonna make their life hell. That's a vengeful act. Instead of
yeah,
just going to the person and being like, um, and having a mature, positive identity with the person, you automatically flip into a negative persona, like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of thing.
right. Yeah. That is a huge red flag. Somebody who is, it's a very petty personality,
Right.
where somebody will, step on your shoe and you wanna chop their foot off. you know,
Right.
go far over petty grievances with somebody. You just want to stomp someone out over the smallest things. That's a very dangerous spirit.
And they plan it too sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just reactionary. But the planning now, you got to go like, oh man,
Yeah.
that's wild, right?
Very
So
true. They plan to push your boundaries and make you react and
right,
then take revenge on you for the reaction. Very,
correct.
very deceitful type of behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see it in some friendships too.
Mm-hmm.
That's the interesting part. Some everyday friendships.
Really.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
you pay attention to like, did you know like there's always hierarchy in human friendships, male and female. Like you can watch a group of women out and you'd be like, okay, she's like the head one, and then like everybody trickle in. I know that sounds odd, but that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And but you can always see the one in the backdrop with like that. She just responds like, it's like this weird tit for tat
Uh-huh.
for whatever reason. I
Yeah.
know if you noticed that before.
Maintain control.
Yeah, trying to maintain a particular control
Yeah.
over the person. Yeah.
Yeah. That's real. So another one that I noticed when it comes to abusive relationships is a man who doesn't have a job. Okay.
Hobosexual.
A homosexual. Exactly. No job, no money, no house or place to live. Um, that's a huge red flag. And usually those homosexual types, they come over to your house. They want to,
Especially in the winter.
yeah, they, they looking for some warmth in the winter time. You know, they come over to your house. They want to get you in bed really quickly. Then they start showing you how good they can be around the house. See, I
Right.
can wash dishes. I can clean really good. Or they put that good loving on you.
Right.
They want
Because
to,
they sleeping all day.
yeah,
Right.
because they need that place to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely using that term from now on. Yes,
Definitely. Definitely. Rock that. Hobosexuals. It's a real thing.
it is
It's
very,
definitely a real thing. A real
very
thing.
real. If a man does not have his own, he don't need a woman. Okay?
Correct.
He
Correct.
does not need a woman. He needs a job. He needs to
Correct.
find something to do to occupy himself. A woman is there in a man's life to help him in the ambitions that he already has. If he doesn't
Correct.
have any ambitions, he doesn't need a woman unless he needs a woman for a place to stay. Okay?
Right.
Use whatever it is that she has. So that's a huge red flag.
And
That,
I would add in that I call that like looking for a mother, right? So instead of having a mate, they're acting like a mother.
yeah,
They're looking for more so like the mommy factor for
yeah.
whatever reason that is, you
Hmm.
know, whatever reason. That kind of goes into like that kind of segues into what I was going to say is next. A, a stagnation or stagnated person.
Mm,
The reason I say that because you can be in a relationship and once and say you're trying to elevate now, right? With this guy, you've just your company now is doing such and such and such, and you're like, well, where else can I go with this?
yeah,
And then they're just happy with being, let's just say they're a mechanic, they're really good at what they do, they make like let's just what's the comfortability number in the world? 70,000, right? So if you
yeah,
make 70,000, you should be comfortable to live.
yeah,
So they've made their contentment number. But everything that you're trying to do, they're trying to mitigate it. Why you want that? Why you need that? They won't
yeah,
they won't assist you in your success, right? They'll pull back from it. So I would say a partner that has stagnated you and because they're going to defeat your purpose, like your
right,
God-given purpose eventually. So that
yeah,
becomes a major red flag because then they're the type to fight you for no reason, right? Arguments for no reason. You have an event, an argument come out. Like you go like, what? Where are we talking about this?
Yeah.
So you got to watch out for that stagnated person, that stagnation or stagnated person.
And usually it's done out of envy. It's like a
Right,
jealousy because that person doesn't have their own ambitions and their own goals that they're trying to reach, and they see you
right.
doing things. They're afraid that you're going to experience
Surpass.
things or go beyond them, so they try to pull you back down. I had
Right,
experience in the relationship that I was in that was abusive, where I would be going out for something that was important, like a job interview, and this person would pick a fight with me right before the job interview, and I'm like,
right,
what's wrong with you? Why would you choose this time to argue with me? A considerate person, if they know that you have something big to do, they know that your mind has to be right in order to do that thing. So they're going to say, I have something on my mind that I want to talk to this person about, but I'm not going to bring it up right now at this time because I don't want to mess their mind up for what they have going on. So when a person will pick a fight with you when you have something big to do that's in alignment with your goals and your ambitions, pay attention to that. That is a red flag, and that's not an accident. That's not.
right. Because envy, jealousy, and envy kind of run razor parallel to
Yeah.
each other. So sometimes I always tell people that if you're feeling jealousy, hopefully nobody ever feels envy. Envy is like a poison, right? But
Yeah.
if you're feeling jealous, like, because envy is a poison at the end of the day. Like, if you around somebody who envies you, don't eat from them, don't drink for them, don't go
Oh,
to sleep around them, like, because that's a toxin. They'll choke you out with a pillow over the face while you sleep, because that's what envy does, right?
yeah.
Envy is what they call it, the green eye monster. They turn into a completely, it's a different thing. A jealous person is doing exactly what you said, unnecessary arguments, especially when you have events or things of importance. Just, accidentally they'll just spill something, they just do like those little childish things that they know will get a rise out of you. So I
Yeah.
would say, if anybody on this live, if you ever feel jealousy, hopefully not, right? But I guess everybody can, because we all should be adults and we know how to maneuver. But if you ever do, I would say turn that jealousy into a good competitive way to better yourself. Like, look within to how you
Yes.
better yourself. So instead of staying in that
Right.
jealous or envious or who did this person think they are energy, flip that around, mirror yourself, and be like, this is how I'm going to become so I can keep pace or even surpass. And so they have to level up too. So think about
Right.
that energy, turning it in so everybody, like, you can level up instead of just trying to hold back.
Right. That's really, really good advice because I always say that, jealousy is a normal human emotion, just like any other emotion. Just like anger, sadness, your emotions are an indicator to you of something that you need to pay attention to. So when you become jealous of someone else, it's an indicator that you may not be giving your best in a particular area. It's basically an indicator that you step your game up, step it up in one
Right,
area. um, it becomes toxic when you, yes, transmuting energy. Thank you,
right,
sacred melanin. Transmuting that energy. Um, when it becomes envy, then it's really a poisonous thing
right,
because um, you can kill somebody over envy. You cannot underestimate what a person who is envious of you will do. People will use their mouth to destroy you over envy. They will lie on you, destroy your character, defame your character, um, and even go to the point of taking you off of this earth because they
right.
cannot stand to see your light, you prosper, because they feel that your light dims theirs. That they
It's like when people say they have haters, right? You ever hear that? Everybody has
yeah,
haters. I've
yeah,
never used that. I've never used that. But I
no.
have a good story. So I'm at dinner. I'm at like my solar return dinner. It's deep. It's like 30 of us. Like when I have a party, I have a party. So it's like 30, 40 deep.
Yeah.
And my mother show up. Moms came through that year. And she was just like, hey, son, come over here. So I was like, all right. She was just like, you feel that over there? I was like, feel what? And then she was like, that's envy looking at you. And it was so odd because I've known this person for most of my life, right? And been through things, but their life had went like kind of left or whatever. They couldn't let a particular lifestyle go. So they had to do some time, et cetera, et cetera. But they were still always able to eat at my table. Like I wasn't like rubbing any type of success of my own in their face. It's just, you know, you one of us. So you running with one of us. But it's funny how it plays out. The person begins to have so much, I would say, unnecessary. I don't like to use the word hate. Like I don't feel like I'm a person that has haters, but my success made them envious, even though like it's just me, and I still see them as an equal. It was completely different. So you know, it was a wild thing that happened. But shout out to my buzzing my ear, you know, buzzing my eyes to that.
Yeah.
Right? Because I couldn't see it, I could feel it. But you know, man, we don't really talk about things like that's weird over there. We just kind of go like, you know. But yeah, so it happens. So envy is real bad. You know, they'll try to set you up to get you robbed, all type of stuff.
Oh,
So you got to be really aware of that envy energy.
right.
Envy energy is
Very much.
harmful.
And Veggie, backing on what you said about the haters, most of the time people who are talking about haters, they don't have real haters.
They
They don't
don't.
have envious of them. These are people who are looking for attention, you know.
Right.
I know people who are like, oh, if I get that, they gonna be mad. They gonna be mad if I pull up this, or you know, these are people who are looking for attention. Because anybody, and I'm telling you this, anybody who has experienced real envy, they will never invite that type of energy to them.
Never.
It's
Never.
it's a bad feeling. It's a very bad feeling to have somebody who is deeply envious of you, because that person is dangerous. You never know what a person who is envious will do to you, right?
It's like a proverbial cloud
Yeah,
following you. Like people don't realize when people be like, I have haters. I'll be like, I don't know if you have haters. You'll
yeah.
feel that. Like you go, whoa. It's,
You don't
it's
want
like that proverbial cloud around you.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so did I do the last one, or did you do the last?
I did the last one. You gotta go. Volley's back.
So one that I say is someone who raises their voice in anger.
Hmm.
Okay. That kind of goes back to the disrespect. Um, but it was something that I noticed very early with myself. A man who will become, um, who will raise his voice towards you, that man will put his hands on you. Like I said, people will check your temperature. People will see how far they can go with you. So as soon as that happens, you need to stop the situation and let the person know, like, oh, don't talk to me like that.
Right.
Don't talk to me like that. Whenever there is aggression in that type of way where I'm is yelling at you very forcefully, that's a very bad sign. Because men know you have that physical advantage over a woman. There's no need for you to yell at a woman to get your point across. Even your voice holds a lot of power because of
Right.
the depth of your voice. A man yelling at a woman is a very scary thing. It can be very, very frightening, you know.
Hmm.
So when a man will yell at you, yell in your face, not a good sign.
Yeah.
Not
I've
a good
never done that. You know, my voice is too monotone. So I've never had a yelling. I'm always talking.
sign.
But yeah, I would agree. I think
This is a good.
I,
I'm sorry. She said, my mom always told me if you play fight, that's a form of checking your temperature. That's a good
I
one.
don't I don't think I've I don't know. I can't speak for. I've never like played for. I mean, I've had like a pillow fight or something like
Yeah.
playful like that, but it's never been like weird play fighting. I don't even understand relationships like that. I've seen them though, and I just find that's kind of weird. Like they just kick each other, they do weird stuff. But it seems to work. So I guess if they're
Mm-hmm.
both beating on each other, if that's they might be like masochists or what's that BDSM type of vibe
Oh,
happening.
oh,
But but that is interesting though. But that I do like that statement is a form of checking your temperature. I can see that
mhm.
though, because a
Yeah.
vindictive person they have to like temper where they can and cannot go, right? So
Right.
I can feel that for sure, for sure, for sure. Good point. I appreciate that, Sacred Melanin. I like that name too, Sacred Melanin. It's kind of like a double though, because melanin is always sacred. But I like it, Sacred Melanin. It's cool. Um, but my next one to add into that is someone who uses your secrets against you.
Mm.
I think that might be because they use that secret to try to control you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not
Yeah.
to, not to. It's good to have people like check and pinpoint when you're going off track, right? Like if you're about to
Mm-hmm.
go into the brick wall, you'd be like, "Oh, easy," because you remember what happened with the. You don't want to go back down that way. That's different, right? They're using
Right.
your history to keep you going forward, but then one who is your information and against you, like that stuff you told them in your childhood or what happened to you as a teen and why you have this particular thing about you, why you do this particular thing. And they try to use that to manipulate your mind because then that becomes a mental strategy. It's not necessarily a physical strategy, but it's a controlling of your mental strategy, meaning like they're separating your world basically, right? They're trying to unbreak your reality. So I would say somebody who uses
Right.
your secrets against you. And I'm not saying you should have like tons of secrets because I think you should be able to definitely a form of narcissism for sure. Um,
Yeah.
but I think like you should always be able to express yourself with your mate with an honesty. So what they do
Yeah.
is they try to repress you by making you congeal your honesty or hold back your truth. So that's why I bring that up. It makes it, they make you self repress yourself, right? Like self repressive.
And Shamir asked, "Are you going to save this live?" Yes, I am going to
Yeah,
save
for
this
sure.
live as long as it lets me, because Instagram be playing games sometimes. So
You
yes, I
got
will
24
save it.
hours, I believe. 24 hours.
Um. Oh, there was something that I wanted to say about that. What was the last thing that you said? Your last point.
I said how they use your secret information to force you to kind of like self repress yourself.
Right.
And yeah,
Yeah. So, it's also a form of betrayal.
right.
It's a form of betrayal, and it's done to really shock your mind. To really shock you. um, when you're in a relationship with someone, the things that you share with that person, things about your childhood or about your personal struggles, or about your personal life, that's supposed to be sacred between the two of you. And somebody who wants to develop a good relationship with you is going to hold those things as sacred between the two of you. They understand that if you've given them that type of trust, that they have to take care of that. But a person who wants to manipulate you will intentionally betray your trust. It's another way of seeing how far they can go with you. You got to understand that before a person does something very violent towards you, they're going to do little forms of violence, little forms of betrayal, little hurtful things to to gauge how far they can actually go. Like, when will you actually cut things off? And the further they are able to go, the more you're able to tolerate and withstand, um, the more you become a good source of supply for that person, because they feed off of that energy, that emotion they get from you, the hurt, the pain. It's like it's fuel to them. It literally fuels them, because usually these are people who are empty on the inside, and because they don't do their own work to self-reflect and to fill themselves up, they need to get that energy from you. And the way they get that energy from you is through causing you pain. So they feed off of that pain that they get from you. It makes them feel important. It makes them feel needed, because they know that they're hurting you, but you still need that person in your life. You still want that person in your life. And so because they haven't developed their own ambitions, their own things, they feel like, as long as I have this person who can make me feel important and needed, now I'm a person. Now I am actually important. Now I actually have value. So you're giving this person value that they don't even really have on their own, because they haven't developed that internally. You know.
I like it. I like it. Um, the next red
Uh,
flag I would say, oh, hmm?
mhm.
I would
Oh, I
say
was
lack of
gonna.
accountability. Oh,
Right? Did I go last?
I thought you just went. I thought you just went.
Yeah. It's
Oh
your
no
go.
no 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 no. You're right. You're right. It's your go, right? You got a
Is it?
volley. My bad. Yeah, I think I might have been on an unhabitual line stepper there. It's your go.
Okay, I'll go. Um, Another one that I noticed is somebody who speaks negatively of their exes to you.
Mm,
Like, always talking about their ex-girlfriends, and the other person was always to blame for it. So they're basically not taking any accountability for anything that happened in the relationship. Every time they bring up their exes, it's almost like they're stuck on their exes, but they're stuck on them in the negative. They never had anything good to say. Like, the whole relationship was bad. You were with the person for 2, 3, 4 years, but everything was bad about the person, and you were the angel. A lot of times I notice when they do that, they're talking about the things they did. A lot of times it's the things that they did to the person that they don't want to take accountability for. So they'll say that the other person did this to them, right?
right.
Most of the time, when a man is coming to you talking about, she wasn't this and she wasn't that, and she didn't know how to listen, and she was unambitious and blah blah, to do what I told her to do, and all this other stuff, how he talks about his exes is very likely how he's going to talk about you after he discards you. Okay.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely,
It's
definitely.
kind of like when you go on a job interview. This is why you're always told never to speak negatively of your previous job when you go on a new job interview,
Right.
because the lawyer is like, okay, if you're talking about them like that, most likely if you get let go here, you're going to be talking about us like that. And usually if a relationship doesn't work, there's something that happened on both sides. Like, there's something that you didn't do, or something you did, and some things that the other person did. So when a person is always like, it was them, they did everything, they were the worst, they were horrible, they were terrible, it's
Yeah,
probably
that
not all the way true.
I believe that because that goes into my next one, lack of accountability, right? Like a
Yes.
man is supposed to be able to be accountable for his actions. So I think going along, segueing with what you were saying, first I always like to discuss how I always read like on the interwebs, Facebook and Twitter, how certain men always go like, she doesn't listen, it's that and the third. They sound like a father. Like they don't sound like they were in like a function, or they sound like they're
Right.
trying to be somebody's father. You'd be like, that's weird. I think like listening, yes, because I understand it from a from the perspective that I can only protect that I can only protect a woman that listens to me. Meaning like this. If I go like, yo, your homegirl Maria, she messed with that drug dealer over there. Don't be in her house. I'm not stopping you from hanging out with her, but I don't want you in that
Right.
house. If something goes on in that house, you don't put our thing in a bad scope. So listening is key for protection in that case, right? But what it seems to be when men say that, they talking about like dinner at 7, like you know what I mean? Like they're like somebody's parent, like take the car, get washed.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what? Like that's not that don't have nothing to do with listening. She's not your child. Listening should be more so for communication, like how because men and women we communicate our emotions differently, and then listening is for always protection wise. So if I go
Right.
like, oh, yo, that spot that you like to go to, I heard something's going to jump off, blah, 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 blah. It's your job to go like,
Yeah.
oh, he put me on, let me not go there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's how listening works as far as having a good,
Very
healthy
true.
paradigm in a relationship. But yeah, just a lack of accountability is always the case. And just, and anybody who just talks, hmm? It's going a little stiff, but but yeah, but you still
Wi-Fi
there. You
work
still
itself
there.
out.
I think we're doing a little hop back and forth, but that's IG. That's how it be. It's like the verses,
Can you
right? But
hear me good? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, good, good, good. Okay. Um, so you went through the personal accountability. Mine, I would say, is substance abuse. Any type
Oh,
of substance abuse is a major red flag. So if you're with somebody who smokes weed from the time they wake up in the morning to the time they go to sleep, that's not a good thing. That person's mind is never going to be clear to do what it is they need to do. You understand? Or somebody who's drinking constantly. Um, I'll,
celebrating failures, I call it.
what is it?
People who drink alone tend to be celebrating failures
Oh,
or
oh,
past successes, which is still
wow,
ancient failures, right?
that's a good one. Say it again.
People who drink alone tend to celebrate failures
People who drink
or woulda,
alone.
coulda. Yeah, celebrate failures or woulda, coulda. That's about it. Because drinking is a
Mm,
celebratory thing, right? Like I don't drink,
yes.
but if he was like, "Oh, it's my birthday and I'm turning like 40," I'm gonna be like, "All right, I have a sip for you." But just to be at home talking about, "Oh, I remember when I run the high school basketball game in like
Mm,
grade school," like what they got to do with anything?
yeah. So I'll give you a story. Um, this was several years ago. Someone that I was on a first date with, and ended up going. I didn't want the person to know where I lived, so I met him by his house, right? And from his house, he was supposed to drive us to the date where we were going to, which turned out to be some pasta place in Brooklyn. You know, where they had a little bar, restaurant,
Ah,
and
okay,
then they, right now
right.
when we get kind of an isolated spot, and as I'm talking to the person, there was major red flags throughout the whole date. But the one thing that I noticed was I don't know how we got into the conversation of alcohol. Oh, he asked me what my vice was, something like that. And I said, I don't really have any of those. And he told me what his vice was, and his was drinking before going to sleep. And so I'm joking around. I'm like, well, how much do you drink? 1 bottle of vodka, 2 bottles of vodka.
Uh-huh.
He's like 1 to 2 bottles. And I'm like, oh, okay. So now we're at the spot, and of course he wants to get a drink. And from all the things that this person had said to me, which was it was many things that he said.
Right.
I'm like, I need to be sober on this, 100% sober. So he got a drink, and he kept trying to get me to drink. When the bartender asked me, I said, I'll just take some orange juice. And he's like, no, orange juice, you're not gonna drink? I'm like, no, I'm good with the orange juice. Kept trying to get me to drink. That was a sign. And he started talking about how we're gonna go back to his place, and I'll go to sleep and he'll just watch me sleep. I said, no, no. And he started telling me, he's like, you have this little defiant thing about you, and I don't think that's gonna work. He said, I don't think you understand that I'm not taking no for an answer. And I heard that loud and clear when he said that. So what
Oh,
I
wow.
did was, I said, excuse me, I have to go to the room. I left my stuff there at the bar, went to the bathroom, and called my homegirl up. I'm like, girl, I need to get out of this state. I don't know what to do. And she said, get your stuff and leave, girl. She said, just leave. So give thanks. When I came out of the bathroom, I did not see him there. I guess he went to the bathroom. He left. And I quickly grabbed my stuff and ran. I ran. I literally ran out of that spot. And long story short, I kept him on the phone. He thought I was somewhere down the block. I told him I had to talk to my sister. I had an emergency. I wanted to keep him there so I could get to my car at his place before he got there. So
Got you.
that's how I got out of that situation.
That's interesting. I don't have any situation. I guess, like men, we don't really go through that type of thing, that type of vibe. Like, I've never had a woman tell me I will not take no for an answer. Like, that's crazy. That's teetering on rape. That's a weird.
Basically, what he was trying to tell me. That's exactly what he was trying to tell me, and I heard that loud and clear. You talk about drinking the whole night. He was talking to me about his days in the army, about how he used to kill people. These are not good signs. I'm like, all kind of red going off. So that's the first time ever in my life I ran from a date.
Yeah, that's that's wild. That's wild. But I guess, it's good to hear stories like that, so a lot of women can know how to maneuver with things of that nature. And I would like to just climb into that and say, it's very important to pay attention to certain key signs about who you with, what they're talking about. Like, even a whole conversation about what's your vice. That's weird. Like, what you mean with somebody's vice? Because you should be trying to see what somebody's positive is, right? Like, so what you like to do that's positive. Yeah, that's good. So that was, doing that for that, for you paying attention to, to those signs, for sure. But I think we covered a lot, though. What you think?
We did. We did.
I think we covered a lot.
Yeah. And it was good to hear all of these different red flags and signs to pay attention to, And if I had gone past that in that situation, that could have been either a rape or it could have been the end of my life. And for a lot of people, you're ending up in situations just like that, where you're getting some type of violence perpetrated against you because you're blowing right past these red flags. And so this is our goal right now in having this conversation, is to bring awareness to it so that we can bring you the solutions. So let's talk
Oh,
about the
hold
solution.
on, hold on, real quick, Queen. Shout out to Traveling Sacred Altar. That's dope. What
Yeah,
you mean, like
that's
travel? Are
dope.
you doing like Kemetic altars that we travel with, or what's happening? I like the name though. Thank you. I appreciate that. We appreciate that.
Dua, Luna. Dua. Um, yeah, my sister Luna, she does Kundalini yoga, and she's a holistic practitioner as well. One of my sacred women
Okay.
sisters. Dua for joining us, Luna. Um,
Sacred Woman be on point. I love y'all
but
ladies. Y'all dope. Y'all good. Y'all like
yeah, yeah.
a good clan of women for sure.
So we have some good solutions for everybody, because we want you to be able to recognize these things and also to be able to protect yourself. And that's the mental protection, where number one, you can pick up the signs, because if you don't know what the signs are, you'll walk right into danger. And
Right.
then mentally, you have to be strong enough to resist these things once they come against you. And also, if you've experienced them, you need to be able to heal as well. So I
Correct.
have a healing session that's coming up. It's a virtual healing session called Protect Your Energy, where we're going to go into the modalities to protect yourself. And then my brother Kepresh is going to be teaching the 6-week course, okay, on self-defense for women, so that you can learn, number one, mental strategies, what to say in these certain situations, how to back somebody up off of you verbally, and also how to fight if you ever have to fight, right?
Right. So make sure to have,
Yeah.
sweatshirts ready.
Yes.
And it's gonna be an amazing time. Make sure to
Yes.
check out how to protect your auric field, your psyche, and
Yes.
with BaNaUset. And I'm gonna bring the other additional mental and physical aspects to it, because the goal is always to be complete, full circle,
Yeah.
ma'at type of person, and or just a balanced type of individual. And for those
Mhm.
who are non-Kemetic, I gotta speak to the lay people too. And that's really our goal. So definitely go to our website, kemeticwellness.com. Check it out. We even give a play-by-play what the classes will be about. So you don't have, it's not gonna be like any weird guesswork. We're going right in,
Right.
down the table of contents with everything, and it's just gonna be a really good time. So I'm excited, and maybe we'll do another one of these IG lives soon, because it seems like the people liked it. So we can just have conversations when need be for sure. I'm down.
Yes. This was a really powerful build, and I thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate your energy. Definitely.
Wellness.com. Yes. And I have the
Okay.
link in my bio as well, where you can join either of those courses. And I hope Ronnie has the link too, but we're gonna see.
We'll put it out there. I think I just have my prime. I'm trying to get it on my primary website though, my primary business website as
Okay.
well.
Yeah,
So I'm
thanks.
gonna have my IT lady set that up. So we'll be having it soon, hopefully in another 24 hours.
All right. Do I?
Okay.
Okay,
Do I,
so
everybody? Remember tap.
bye. Peace. Shemi Imhotep.
Peace.
Peace.